One of the main suspects in the assassination of Haitian President Jovenel Moïse has now been charged. Mario Antonio Palacios has appeared in a Miami court yesterday. Palacios telling U.S. investigators in October that he was hired to provide security during an arrest of then President Moïse. However, he says he changed then his plans to kill him. More than 40 other suspects are now being held in custody. And joining us now to talk about it is our chief foreign affairs correspondent, Nayyera Haqq. And Nayyera, he was charged here in the U.S., extradited during a stopover in Panama. Seems that we know an awful lot.
Indeed, from the beginning, the United States did say and provide support to the Haitian government in terms of the investigation. That was a recognition that the United States had resources that would allow it to spread multiple continents in order to get down to the bottom of this conspiracy that resulted in the assassination of Jovenel Moïse. What we have now learned is that these Colombian nationals were at some point trained by U.S. military as part of the effort just 30 years ago or so for the United States to be training paramilitary organizations in advance of democracy. So this is very much the U.S. chickens coming home to roost.
Nayyera, Haitian advisors are saying that President Moïse was working on a hit list of politicians and businesses involved in Haiti's illegal drug trade, which he then planned to hand over to the U.S. His assassinators were reportedly looking for that list but didn't find it. Whatever came of the list, and do you think it will ever be made public?
That list has been reported on, but there has not been a public recognition either by the Haitian authorities or by the United States of the names that may be on that list. We do know that there has been extensive narcotics investigatory work as well as trafficking work conducted between the law enforcement agencies of the United States and the Haitian government. That's part of the broader effort to stem corruption on the island, a corruption that the United States has spent millions of dollars contributing to. For example, all of that earthquake relief money that had been funneled to Haiti, the hurricane relief money that had been funneled into Haiti. None of those buildings that were promised on paper actually ended up being developed or showing up in real life. So that's part of the challenge that the United States is trying to address, is its own support of the type of corruption that led to the assassination of Jovenel Moïse.
Quickly before you go, there was another assassination attempt. This time it was on the Haitian Prime Minister, Ariel Henry, over the weekend. What does it say about what things are on the ground? And I can't tell you what the former ambassador, the words that she used to describe it, but she said it was messed up.
That is a polite diplomatic way of referring to the Haitian government effectively trying to control what is a gang-ruled country with very little support for the people and giving very little support to the people in return. So you have political elites, you have gangs, and in between them you have Haitian working families that are just struggling to make ends meet. It has resulted in Haitians leaving the island, going to places in Latin America, trying to work their way up north to the United States just to be able to feed their families.
Nayyera Haqq is our chief foreign affairs correspondent. Nayyera, thank you very much.